These experiences that we have in life, the ones that carry stress, that cause dysregulation, feelings of fear or survival in our nervous system, they impact us on many different levels. Welcome to the Embodied Woman podcast with me, Rebecca Wilson. An embodied experiential space for you to drop deep into the wealth of wisdom within your being and activate a fuller, richer you. I am a feminine awakener, thought leader, embodied business doula, sacred business midwife, healer, and all-round medicine woman. I am here to guide women deeper into their essence and power, to activate their life force, awaken pleasure, and support them to live an embodied life. I will help you birth your visions, dreams, creations, desires, and sacred business into the world from an easeful, embodied, and rooted place within. My work supports women to become more available for life, love, relationship, connection, creation, pleasure, and wealth. I will activate you into self-leadership and self-mastery to truly live an embodied and awakened life. Welcome on the journey, my love. Hello, love. Welcome back to the Embodied Woman podcast. Today's episode, we are diving deep into cellular energy, resourcing, and the journey of healing. So within this episode, we are going to be exploring this question. Do you have enough energy to heal? This is a really vital topic, I feel, that we must speak about, because I, on my own journey, and have witnessed in many, many women's journeys at this point in my facilitation practice, have recognized and seen how sometimes we can get stuck in loops of patterning. And we can feel like we are, swimming upstream or trudging through dense ground that we just can't seem to find our way through particular thoughts or patterns or beliefs or emotions. Processing old wounds like this, these old aches of our hearts, the contractions and closures that live within our bodies and our psyches and our minds, to process them, to work our way through them, and to then eventually integrate them, requires a certain level of cellular energy. It requires energy for us to traverse this ground, to feel, to move through, and to process all of these things in which we've stored within ourselves. Very often, we have actually stored them, or they've been stored inside of us, lodged or trapped within our body or our mind, our hearts and wombs, because we didn't have enough energy to process them mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually at the time in which they were born. Because stress, or whether we speak of the experiences we've had as stressful situations or traumas, things that have impacted us, that have hurt our emotions, that have, taken a lot from us, that have been incredibly challenging. Those times often are moments that feel or have felt too big to comprehend or to understand or to digest at the point of it happening, whatever the scenario has been for us as individuals. So if it doesn't get processed in the time of its initiation, of its time of arrival, then where does it go? Well, of course, it gets stored somewhere. If we don't have the capacity to wade through and process on that mental, physical, and emotional level, the imprint of the experience, the memory, it gets stored or etched in our body, our nervous system, our psyche, our thought patterns, and stays there, often for really long periods of time. And very often when we arrive into this path of awakening, as many of us have done here in this space, in our community, we begin to embark on this journey of healing. We begin to traverse that path through our inner worlds, through the grounds of our bodies. Like archaeologists, we're digging up old bones, wading through deep soil, exploring different aspects of our being and our psyche, patterns that have been born from painful experiences in our lives. And this is essentially the healing journey, the journey of healing, or as I would like to call it, the journey of integration. And it's the essential part of us being able to process through that old narrative or holding on to begin to rewrite. And through that, the integration aspect of healing arrives. However, it is also a process that requires a lot from us. Now, very often, and I'm sure you can resonate with this too, my love, there are times in our healing journey where we may go through a more inward, insular hibernation season of our lives, because the healing that we're doing requires so much from us to restore and replenish ourselves that we don't have so much capacity of energy for much else but that. And I believe that is an essential part of the journey. It's what I've witnessed in myself and so many people in my world around me. But the true aspect of that healing arriving into integration is about us having enough cellular energy to process what needs to be processed. So here we sit with this question: are we resourced enough? Do we have enough cellular energy to welcome the resurfacing of such old aches and pains and sorrows? Does our body have the energy and capacity to hold that rising of internal storm that can resurface and reveal itself? Because often a woman that has existed in life in these loops of stress or survival and nervous system dysregulation, often from painful or traumatic situations or experiences in life, most likely doesn't have the cellular energy or nourishment or resource to hold such a resurfacing of a tumultuous processing of the shadows that have been living within. Because these experiences that we have in life, the ones that carry stress, that cause dysregulation, feelings of fear or survival in our nervous system, they impact us on many different levels. Of course, we can recognize the mental and emotional, and possibly can touch into the spiritual, but they also impact us on a cellular level, and they also impact us on a mineral level too. Our body burns through its reservoirs and its reserves of minerals, which are ultimately spark plugs of energy that live within us, that are responsible or co-creating many different processes and physiological happenings within our bodies that help us to be able to do many of the unconscious but active things that our body does every single moment of every day. Our temperature, our digestion, our blood pressure, our energy levels, our thyroid function, our magnesium levels, and to absorb certain nutrients from the food we are eating and convert that into usable energy, and so on. Stressful experiences and times of pain and upset and trauma deplete us from such aspects that we need. And then we walk through life, often undernourished, lacking resource and depleted from these events that have taken place. Further and more often depleting year upon year on a cellular level. And then we arrive into this point of awakening. Maybe something happened in our life, or a shift happened, or we decided to have a coach or go to therapy. And we begin to unravel these tightly wound knots of childhood wounds or traumatic experiences that have been etched in the body and the nervous system and the fascia. And yet we're still in this place of lacking resource and nourishment and vital energy. So our healing often becomes another stressful process for our body to go through. And this is often where I found myself, and also many of the women that I have supported over the years, arrive into this place of feeling like we get stuck, feeling like we are in loops of patterns. We reach a certain point or place in our healing and integration of a particular wound or relationship, or the thing that happened to us that caused such stress and sadness, to only bounce back and find ourselves deep in it again. And over the years, there was many different parts of my own journey for myself that integrated with relative ease. But what I found myself was that there was certain aspects of my own narrative that just wasn't able to fully move through without looping back in some way and feeling like I was right back at the beginning again. This is when I began to explore nourishing my body in a new way. Now, first of all, these two experiences were running side by side like train tracks. They were not interconnected, not consciously in my mind anyway. I did not embark upon the remineralization and nourishment journey for the support of healing these loops and patterns within. I did that because I recognized that my physical body was in need of some support, and I wanted to support my health in an even better and more vital way. But the interesting thing that was born from that revealed itself along the pathway to me is that the more nourished I was and the more minerally balanced I have become, the stronger I have felt within my body and better able to take on those more difficult parts of my own psyche and my own ego, and even have the more challenging conversations in life and in relationships. I've also been able to hold and sustain the shift that has happened through these experiences, through these healings. There's been a deeper integration available to me. Now, I definitely pertain this to a feeling of coming out of survival from a deep, deep place within my body and more deeply stepping into safety. Because when the body is balanced and mineralized and nourished, it doesn't operate from a state of survival. And of course, the opposite is just when we are depleted and undernourished and lacking resource and minerally imbalanced, our body will be in some state of stress and therefore not in its optimal state, and possibly in some level of state of survival. These are the states where we are cellularly exhausted, unbalanced, undernourished, minerally depleted. Often we're carrying oxidative stress in our cells, so we are unable to utilize the minerals that we do have to create the energy that we need for our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, our relationships, our life, our work, our parenthood, and so on. It's very often when we are in this distorted state that we experience life through a distorted lens, which makes sense because our internal world is in distortion, dysregulation, and lacking balance. We're bound to relate to the world and others through that lens of distortion, lack of balance, and depletion. Processing these old emotional hurts and wounds requires us to be nourished and resourced, to be able to hold this steady ground for the repatterning and then the integration that we so deeply often wish for. This is where the new pathways within can begin to be born and flourish. When we are also in metabolic dysfunction, minerally imbalanced within, we're often unable to metabolize food, resources, energy, and therefore we are also most likely unable to metabolize life and its experiences. The initial experience of the stress or trauma that we've had has cultivated an unstable environment of dysregulation within, on a mineral, cellular, and emotional and nervous system level, because it's all so deeply connected. And so as we begin to restore the body, particularly through renourishment and remineralization, able to gain sense of rebalancing within. And it's from here that we're able to cultivate some stability within our mind, body, and cells. And I have witnessed how smooth the journey can be to transition from the point of pain into the point of acceptance and integration and then power when the body is nourished and balanced and able to hold such a journey. There is an easeful way to step out of the loops of stress and trauma that the life experiences that we've had have brought to us. This is where the journey of remineralization, renourishment, embodiment, somatic healing, somatic awareness play a vital and pivotal role on our journey of truly stepping out of old patterns and rewriting the new ones and being able to step into them in a more full and whole way. We need energy to heal. We need energy to integrate the past, and we need energy to step forward into the life in which we desire to cultivate and create for ourselves and our families. This is one of the many inspirations for birthing the Embodied Woman Group Mentorship program this year, to create a space for women to touch in and access it all. This is a pioneering program, one of its kind, where we touch into nutrition, mineralization, the hair mineral analysis test, rebalancing the body, which will also impact energy, hormones, cellular metabolism, thyroid, adrenal glands, addressing burnout, fatigue, dysregulations, lack of being able to rest well or sleep, and so much more, alongside feminine care practices, somatic awareness, embodiment practices, meditation, movement, inner child work, and accessing, healing these parts of ourselves, and a deeper space of being able to understand where the pattern and ideas and thoughts and beliefs that we carry around what it is to be a woman who is nourished and embodied and rooted and vibrant, and be able to unravel that and step forward into a new, fuller, more embodied space within your own being and your own life. Now, the spaces are filling up for this container, and they are limited. It isn't a unlimited numbers container to support the depth and intimacy of the space. The 6-month journey offers both one-to-one sessions and group sessions also. So it is a hybrid course that really allows you to get the best of all of the worlds in so many ways. If this is speaking to you, I really welcome you to dive on in to the link that's in the show notes of this episode. If you are feeling the call and you have any questions, you can book a connection call with me. I will also link that in the show note. I'm here to support you to find out if this is the right space for you and the right journey for you. It is a journey that's supporting women out of depletion, undernourishment, dysregulation, lacking vitality and energy. Women who are stuck in survival, who are having issues with sleep, rest, bodily processes, functions, and women who just generally feel like they lack a luster for life. Join us on this journey. If this is speaking to you, my love, it is the time now, and I'm so excited to guide the women that step in with us. All the details you'll need are in the show notes, and just sending you a big hug and so much love. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you loved this musing and sharing, I would love for you to share this episode far and wide. You can arrive into all of my offerings at rebecca-wilson.com. Links to dive deeper with me are in the episode notes. Remember, my love, you are here to be the fullest, most potent, powerful, embodied version of you. I am here to guide you into that. Hey love, I'm dropping in here to welcome you to join us in our online community membership, The Village. I created this space for women to gather, to return to themselves, to deepen the connection and the relationship with self, whilst held in a community of like-minded women walking the journey and the path of their own awakening.